use that as your backdrop for every interview, right?
I do,
That's
I
your
do.
main thing. Yeah.
There's actually an alternative one where it was just you. This is kind of like just you kind of pointing towards me. So I was like, maybe I'll do this one. But then I was like, no,
No,
you know
no,
what?
no, no.
I'll promote the movie versus just like
Thank
saying,
you.
hey, Erin's looking at me.
When I was 12 and a half years old, my mama put $10 in my hand and told me to look after myself. I did as I was told. I looked after myself the only way I knew how.
What business you got here?
We wanted to get out of the city for a while.
My gut tells me no good can come from those two.
I actually wanted to ask you, you go through the process of doing the movie. What was your reaction to the trailer? Because you know the script, you know everything's going on. And then obviously, like, you know, Stuart, your writer director goes off and writes cuts the trailer. So I was wondering what your reactions were to it.
You know what? My reactions are always like I ruminate and I overthink everything, so that my reactions always entail something that's like definitely assigning a bit more gravity to it than it needs to have, but it's positive. I love the trailer and it made me reflect on how much I love working with directors like Stuart because I love directing with independent filmmakers that I trust because I know that like he's going to go cut a trailer that I love that's reflective of the movie in a way that feels honest and authentic and like just tonally perfect and elevates it a little bit, perfect music. So I watched it and I was like, I love this. And I love having that safety with him, like that trust. So loved it because I loved it and loved it because it reflected that relationship with Stuart.
You know, being in that trailer, you know, there's like a lot of scenes. It's just you and Jai, and then you only have two other like real co-stars in the movie. So did it feel like a play for you?
Mm-hmm. It did, which is amazing because I come from theater and that's heaven to me because I love the reason why I love doing theater is because you get uninterrupted time in a character. Yes, I do not like yes, you do have to like the audience is there, but you have a relationship with them. And when you're working on camera, you know, we got to rehearse, but one never really gets to rehearse very much in this industry on film. I miss that process because it doesn't have to be a process that entails reading lines. It's about talking about the characters. So you show up on the day and you can breathe life into them. It doesn't feel like they're caricatures, right? And so yeah, the intimacy of it being such a small cast in a desert made the subject matters feel so much more poignant and so much more fluorescent. You know what I mean? Amidst it dials the volume up on the character driven nature of it and it dials volume down. And it felt like doing play again in a way that like allowed me to just simplify things. I'm reacting to these characters in this moment, and there aren't a million extras. There aren't that many moving components that would be present if there were more cast members. And the simplification allowed us to tap into the characters more and also to feel safety around each other a little bit more, I think.
You know, I learned that you know you went out and like learned the Texas accent for this character, and I was wondering just like when you're first sitting down, do you like when you because you're speaking of characters initially, I was like, wonder if you like kind of had a stereotypical kind of Texas twang that you're like okay like and then did it get shifted a lot to where like your dialect coach was like okay you know dial it back or also too is it just fun knowing that Jai's Australian and then he's doing one too, so I don't know if you're sitting there going like. No, Jai, you know, maybe the Texas accent, your Texas accent needs to be a little bit more this way.
It's so funny because he's Australian, so he's used to doing an accent more, right? My thing was I had no preconceived notion or concept, or I didn't want to before I started to meet with my dialect coach because I wanted him to dictate it. I wanted him to take the wheel. I knew that he was the professional and I knew he knew everything about accents. And I knew that no matter how much Googling I did, nothing could match decades of working in that field and learning about everything that has to do with the granularity of accents down to the part of Texas you're in and where your tongue is placed when you're speaking in that accent. And so I showed up and I said, this is where she's from. These are the given circumstances. This is her socioeconomic status. And we went with that. West Texas. That's different than a different part of Texas. How much education does she have? That will dictate certain things as well. And then we found someone that like a clip of someone talking in an interview. And we thought that woman sounds like someone who I can sort of emulate. And she's in West Texas. And that's the interview I would listen to every morning before work. I would have my vocal exercises, but he really, really like he steered the wheel. And that's the thing that I wanted to happen because I just, that's when you learn to delegate. And then you find the character through finding the accent. But no, I didn't, things were very specified from the get-go. I couldn't kind of navigate myself and find it halfway through. You got to figure it out from the get-go. And then you have to learn it so well that it's so second nature that you're not thinking about it. Otherwise, then you're thinking about the accent and not the character and you're not present, right? So it was a process. It was very specific. It was very dedicated. And it was the only way I could have done it. Otherwise, I would have been an anxious mess on set.